They forgot. Again. 80 years old, and not a single call, not a card, not even a text. But this year, I didn't just sit there waiting. This year, I found what they'd been hiding, the stash of gifts they never meant for me to see. And by the time I was done, they wished they'd just said happy birthday. You'd think by the time you hit 80, your family might remember the one day that's yours. Just one day out of the whole year. But here I am, sitting in my little armchair by the window, the sun creeping across the floor like it always does, and it's quiet. Too quiet. Not a call. Not a knock. Not even a knock from the dog next door that barks at everything. The silence wraps around me like a second skin. Familiar. But no less painful. I glance at the calendar. Red circle around August 2nd. I drew it last month in Sharpie, like I always do. Not that it makes a difference. Last year my daughter-in-law said they meant to call, but something came up. The year before, my grandson had finals. And before that? Oh, they all got sick at once. A miracle, really. A family of 4 struck down by the same 24-hour bug on my birthday, for 4 years in a row. I used to bake my own cake. Then I stopped bothering. They moved me into the back guest house last year. Said it was cozier. It's a converted pool house with a leaky roof and a stove that only works if you jiggle the burner and say a prayer. They told me the main house needed space. Funny, I lived in that house longer than any of them ever have. I raised my son in that kitchen. Rocked my grandson in that sunroom. Watched my own husband breathe his last breath in that bedroom. Now I'm the lady in the back. They didn't even knock today. I thought maybe this year they'd get it right. A card. A cupcake. Something. But as the hours tick by, I realize. Nothing's coming. Around 5 in the evening, I finally open the door. The air's hot and still. The kind of summer heat that presses on your chest. I start walking toward the main house. Not because I expect anything, I just want to feel like I exist. Their voices are inside. I hear my daughter-in-law laughing, something about new shoes. My son grunts, probably scrolling through sports highlights. And then, I hear it. My name. We can't just keep hiding the gifts, Rick. It's messed up. She doesn't even notice, he snaps. And if we gave them to her, she'd just store them somewhere and forget. My feet freeze right there on the path. What about the necklace from last year? She says, quieter now. Still in the closet with the rest. She hasn't even asked about them. Trust me, it's easier this way. They did buy me things. But they never gave them. They hid them. I turn and walk back before I hear anything else. But my hands are shaking. Not out of sadness. Not anymore. Something sharper is brewing. Hotter. More alive. That night, I barely sleep. The next morning, I put on my oldest sneakers, the ones with the soles that flap when I walk, and I head straight for the garage. That's where they store all the off-season stuff. Christmas bins, Halloween decor, boxes labeled camping, even though they haven't camped in years. I know the place better than anyone. I built those shelves. Hammered those nails. Packed half of it myself. They think I'm invisible? Good. Let's see how much they notice when things start going missing. I start with the big blue tub labeled Grandma, Miscellaneous. Tucked way in the corner, under an old comforter. Inside? A silk scarf I never saw. A book of poems still shrink-wrapped. A soft cardigan, pale yellow, my favorite color, still folded with the price tag dangling. And there at the bottom, in a small velvet box. The necklace. Gold, simple, with a tiny heart charm. My birthstone, peridot, in the center. They picked it out. They bought it. And they never gave it to me. My fingers tighten around the box. I don't cry. I smile. I carry the box back to the guest house like it's treasure. Because that's what it is. And now I want more. In the following days, I take one item at a time. A candle set from under the sink. A massage pillow still in the Amazon box. A handwritten note I found stuffed behind the shoe rack. It read, "Happy birthday, Mom. We love you, even if we forget to show it." Dated 2 years ago. They had written it. They just never gave it. I tape that note to my fridge. Every time I open the door, I see it. Every time they come over to check on me and grab a soda, they'll see it too. And they do. One afternoon, my grandson walks in to borrow something. He stops at the fridge. "What's that?" I don't look up from my knitting. "Something I found in the garage," I say casually. He doesn't reply, but his ears turn red. 2 days later, I wear the yellow cardigan to dinner in the main house. My daughter-in-law stares. She tries to hide it, but I catch the flick of her eyes and the way her fingers clench. "Oh, that's nice," she says. "It's from someone who forgot," I say gently. The silence is glorious. They start getting nervous. I can feel it. See it in their body language. And I'm not done. Because the best gift they forgot isn't a necklace or a book or a card. It's me. They forgot me. But I'm about to remind them. In a way they'll never forget. The yellow cardigan feels like armor now. It's soft, warm, and smells faintly of cedar from all the years it sat forgotten in that garage bin. But to me, it's proof. Proof they knew. Proof they cared, just not enough to actually follow through. And now, I wear it everywhere. I wear it to dinner. I wear it when they drop by. I wear it when I go out on my slow walks to the mailbox, even if it's too warm. Let them squirm. Let the guilt seep in slowly. That's the beginning. But I'm just getting started. You see, I'm not a fool. I've lived a long life. 80 years of being underestimated. Of people thinking I'm too fragile, too old, too quiet to fight back. But I've also raised a family, worked double shifts, survived a recession, and buried a husband who taught me exactly how to handle things when people get greedy or careless. So when my daughter-in-law stops by the guest house with a forced smile and a tray of lemon bars, I don't touch them. I just say "Thanks, dear," and leave them on the counter. Let her wonder if I trust her or not. Let her wonder if I know what they said, what they did. That weekend, I make my way into the house again, while everyone is gone for the day. They trust one won't go snooping. That's their first mistake. I head straight for the upstairs hall closet, the one with the broken hinge they never fixed. I open it slowly, and behind the extra towels, I find another small plastic bin. It's labeled simply, "Gifts." Inside, more items. A beautiful throw blanket. A framed family photo with my name written on the back in marker. A mug that says "World's Best Grandma" with the tag still attached. And then, tucked beneath it all, a sealed envelope. It's addressed to me. I hold my breath as I tear it open. Inside is a handwritten birthday card. This one is for my son. It says, "Sorry I haven't said this enough, Mom. I love you. I don't always know how to show it, but you mean the world to me. Happy birthday." It's dated 4 years ago. 4. For years they've been forgetting my birthday, while hiding things like this away. A small ache builds in my chest, but it doesn't last. Because now, I have everything I need. Evidence, intent, and a motive to take things to the next level. I head back to the guest house and start writing. Not a journal. Not a letter. A list. I call it, "What They Forgot." It's written in blue pen on the back of a bank envelope, and it includes every single gift, note, and apology they never delivered. 1 item per line. 1 sin at a time. And now, it's time for me to deliver my message. I start slowly. At Sunday dinner, I arrive with a framed family photo from the closet, except I've scribbled out everyone's face with a Sharpie, except mine. I prop it up on the table before sitting down. Not a word said. They all glance at it. My grandson looks at his mom. Grandma? What's that?" I sip my iced tea and smile sweetly. "Oh, just a picture someone forgot to give me. Thought I'd bring it to the family table." Their faces go pale. My son tries to change the subject, but I've already planted the seed. The next time they come to check on me in the guest house, I'm carefully knitting something using the throw blanket yarn. Just unraveling it and creating something new right in front of them. "Oh, that's a beautiful blanket," my daughter-in-law says, eyes twitching. "Thank you," I reply, not even looking up. "Found it buried in the closet. Can't imagine who it was for." They start to get nervous. Edgy. I can feel the guilt-burning holes in the walls around them. But still, no apology. No explanation. Just avoidance. So I turn it up another notch. On the 5th day, I leave a note on their kitchen table when they're out grocery shopping. Just 5 words, written in clean cursive. I know what you forgot. I sign it with a little smiley face. When I peek out my window later that night, I see the lights on in the main house well past midnight. They're talking. Arguing maybe. Doors opening, cabinets banging. Let them panic. They're about to learn something they forgot about me. I own this house. Yes. Legally. After my husband passed, he left it to me in full. The deed is in my name. Always has been. I just never flaunted it. But now? Now it's time they remember who really holds the keys. I dig through my old filing cabinet in the guest house. The metal one with the stiff drawers and the dust. There it is. Yellowed, but clear as day, the original deed. My name in bold letters. Date stamped. Signed. Notarized. They moved me to the guest house. They forgot my birthday 5 times. They hid gifts that were meant to ease their own guilt. Now they're about to understand what it feels like to be forgotten, on my terms. The next morning, I leave early and head into town. I visit the lawyer I haven't spoken to in years. Mr. Patterson. He's older now. Slower. But he remembers me. I slide the deed across the table. I want to transfer ownership into a living trust. Effective immediately. And I'd like to include an addendum. He lifts his glasses. What kind of addendum? I smile. One that says if anyone living on the property forgets my birthday, they forfeit their right to stay here. He chuckles like I'm joking. I'm not. Make it ironclad, I say. It takes 2 days, a few papers, and a notary who smells like peppermint. But by the end of the week, the documents are filed. Legally. And I am no longer the quiet, ignored birthday afterthought. I'm the landlady. The owner. The one they should never have underestimated. When I walk back into the main house that night, holding the updated deed in a red folder, they all freeze. They know something's changed. And they're right. Because the real gift this year is finally being seen. I don't slam the folder on the table. That's not my style. I place it down gently. Like a chess piece. Quiet, calculated, undeniable. They all stare at it, my son, his wife, their boy, like it's a snake coiled and hissing. What's that? My son finally asks, trying to sound casual. But I can hear the tremble behind it. I sit. I cross my legs slowly, letting the yellow cardigan drape just right. I glance down at the mug in my hands, the one that says World's Best Grandma, the one they never gave me, and I smile. It's the deed, I say. To this house. I wait. They exchange glances, eyebrows lifting, lips twitching with confusion. My grandson looks the most nervous. It's already in your name, isn't it? My daughter-in-law says carefully. I nod. It was, I say. But now it's in a trust. A living trust. With some new conditions. My son clears his throat. What kind of conditions? I look directly at him now. No softness. No hesitation. If anyone in this household forgets my birthday again, they vacate. Silence. Not the stunned kind. The angry kind. The embarrassed kind. The kind that feels like fireworks are about to go off under the table. My daughter-in-law's mouth tightens. That's dramatic. No, I say gently, what's dramatic is hiding birthday gifts from your mother in a storage bin while letting her sit alone every year pretending it doesn't matter. They both flinch. You don't even like celebrating, she says quickly. You always said birthdays weren't a big deal. I said that, I lean forward, so I wouldn't cry when no one bothered. My grandson shifts in his seat. He won't meet my eyes. Good. Let the shame settle. Let it stew. They begin to protest, talk about stress, the economy, how things got lost in the shuffle. But I hold up a hand. Calm. Steady. I'm not angry anymore, I say. I'm done being hurt. I'm just making sure I'm never forgotten again. I stand. And if you don't want to remember, that's fine. The world is big. Rent is expensive. I suggest you start looking. Then I walk out. The silence behind me is louder than any apology. Back in my guest house, I light a candle. A small vanilla one, shaped like a birthday cupcake. I bought it from the dollar store. I light it just for me. And that evening, I eat cake. Real cake. Bought myself a little one from the bakery downtown. Chocolate with buttercream icing and sprinkles on top like I'm 5 years old. Because why not? I put the happy birthday hat on that I found in the garage. I sing to myself in the mirror. And for the first time in a very long time, I don't feel forgotten. I feel fierce. Later that week, they try to backpedal. There's a knock on my guest house door. When I open it, I see all 3 of them standing there. Each one holding something. My son's got flowers. My daughter-in-law is holding a large envelope. My grandson, a balloon. A helium balloon. It reads, "You're the best. Close enough." I invite them in. I don't offer tea. My daughter-in-law hands me the envelope. It's a spa voucher. 3 days, fully paid. We just wanted you to have something special. My son clears his throat. And we've made a calendar reminder. For your birthday. Every year. No more forgetting. Not just your birthday, my grandson pipes in, trying to sound bright. We'll do a whole celebration month if you want. I nod. Thank you. But I don't smile. They think that'll undo 5 years of silence? Of being treated like a seasonal inconvenience? No. This is only the beginning. Glad to hear it, I reply. Because next week, I'll be inviting some friends over. Old bridge partners. Neighbors. Book club ladies. Oh? My daughter-in-law says slowly. Yes, I say. For a belated birthday celebration. I thought it'd be lovely to use the main house. Especially the dining room. More silence. They know what that means. That I will be the center of that space now. That my people will fill their rooms. It's not just about cake anymore. It's about territory. And they're realizing too late that they gave theirs away. The celebration is set for Saturday. I don't tell them how many are coming. I don't ask permission. I simply hand them a note, clear the house from 2 to 8. I've invited guests. They know better than to argue. By noon, they're scrambling to clean. Polishing silverware. Vacuuming floors. Wiping down windows they haven't touched in months. I stroll in mid-morning with a bouquet under one arm and a grocery bag in the other. You missed a spot, I say, pointing to the mantel. My grandson scrubs it quietly. By 2 o'clock, the house smells like lemon cleaner, and the front lawn has been freshly mowed. And when the doorbell rings for the first time, it's like a switch has flipped. The house fills with laughter. Real joy. Stories being told. People clinking glasses and hugging each other tight. And me? I sit at the head of the table. Wearing the yellow cardigan. A paper crown on my head. My name on every place card. They forgot me 5 years in a row. Now they can't stop watching me shine. I see them peeking in from the patio, trying not to look bitter. But it's there. The regret. The realization. Because what they forgot, I remembered. And now? Everyone else does too. That night, after everyone's gone, I leave a slice of cake on the kitchen counter. Next to it, a note. Consider this your grace period. Next time you forget, you're out. It's not a threat. It's a boundary. A declaration. And for once, I know it'll be respected. Because I'm no longer the forgotten grandmother in the guest house. I'm the force they never saw coming. You'd think after the party, after the calendar reminders and flowers and forced smiles, they'd get it. That they'd change. But people like them? They don't change. They adjust, for a moment, then snap back like stretched rubber bands. A week after the celebration, the gifts start disappearing. The framed card signed by all my bridge club friends? Gone from the mantel. The leftover cake I stored in the fridge? Replaced with a casserole I didn't ask for. The guest house Wi-Fi mysteriously goes out. I walk into the main house one evening to ask about it, and I catch the tail end of their conversation. She's getting too bold, my daughter-in-law is whispering. She invited people here without asking. Like she owns the place. She kind of does, my son mutters. She thinks she does, she snaps. That trust won't hold if we challenge it in court. I step back quietly. So that's their next plan. Erase me again. This time through paperwork. They're not apologizing anymore, they're preparing for war. And I'm already 10 steps ahead. I spend the next few days making calls. Not to lawyers. Not yet. That would be too obvious. I call my old friend Ruth. She works at the post office and knows everybody. Then I call Dolores from the zoning board. And Marcy from the HOA. We share coffee and cake on my porch. I smile and make polite conversation, and when the time is right, I plant seeds. How hard would it be, I ask sweetly, for someone to open a home business? Maybe sell handmade cards or gifts. Depends on the building, Dolores says. But for you? Not hard. Oh, I say, sipping my tea. Good to know. They don't know I'm not just asking. I'm plotting. By Friday, I've ordered business cards. Simple white ones with gold trim. Edith's House of Thoughtful Things. That's what I name it. I list the address of the main house. Yes, the house they live in. Because the deed is mine. I can technically run anything I want from any corner of this property. Even if it means turning the living room into a showroom. My first sale happens the next morning. A neighbor drops by to buy a set of custom bookmarks I made by hand, pressed flowers, handwritten quotes. $20 cash. I make the sale at the dining table. My grandson comes downstairs and sees us. What is this? A customer, I reply, smiling. Here? In the house. I nod. This is where I registered the business. He blinks. But we live here. You forgot, I say, my smile never fading, so now I remember for all of us. They try to stop me. First it's little things, closing the blinds so no one can see the window display I set up. Then my daughter-in-law leaves passive-aggressive notes on the fridge. No candle-making equipment in the kitchen. This is still a home. But I know the law. And more importantly, I know my rights. My lawyer confirms it, they're tenants, not owners. And they've been living rent-free for years. So I change that. I draft a letter and slip it under their bedroom door. Simple and clear. Effective immediately, $400 per person, monthly rent. Failure to pay within 15 days will result in eviction proceedings. By breakfast, the kitchen is silent. No one wants to look me in the eye. They thought ignoring my birthdays was harmless. Now they see how expensive it can be. To be honest, it's not about the money. It's about being seen. Being respected. Being acknowledged. You don't leave a woman who raised you to feel invisible. You don't treat her like a shadow, only to remember her when you need free childcare or a cooked meal. And if you do? Well, you better hope she's not the kind of woman who can outmaneuver you. I am. 2 weeks later, my little business is booming. Locals drop by for handmade soaps, bookmarks, crochet bags. I call it thoughtful things because each one is made with care, something I was once denied. The dining room shelves are filled with orders. The foyer smells like lavender and lemon. The living room? Rearranged into a sitting area where customers sip tea while they browse. I pay myself in smiles and petty satisfaction. But also in cash. I don't pocket the money. Not yet. Instead, I keep a ledger. Every dollar that passes through my hands, I log. Why? Because I have a new plan. One that will outlive this house. Outlive this bitterness. I'm going to use every dollar I earn from this business they mocked to fund something bigger. Something permanent. That night, I make a phone call to a local nonprofit. It's a foundation that helps older adults reconnect with lost dreams. Some want to paint again. Some want to sing. Others, like me, just want to be remembered. I offer a donation. They stammer on the line, stunned. This is incredibly generous. I nod, unseen. And I'm not done. Because the greatest revenge is building something beautiful from what they tried to bury. The next day, I get a visit. Not from a customer, but from my son. He knocks on the guest house door. I let him in. He looks tired, angry, but unsure. I saw your little pamphlet, he says, tossing one of my business flyers on the table. Lovely, isn't it? I reply. You're turning the house into a storefront. I own the house. I know that, he snaps. But, it's still our home. Was it mine? I ask. He goes quiet. I mean really, I continue, was it ever home for me? Or was it just the place I kept warm while everyone else forgot I existed? That's not fair. No, I say sharply. What wasn't fair was having to watch you all celebrate birthdays and anniversaries and achievements while I sat in the guest house with nothing but reruns on TV and leftovers that no one remembered to offer. He sighs. I'm sorry, okay? Are you sorry because it hurt me, or sorry because it's finally inconveniencing you? He doesn't answer. That's answer enough. After he leaves, I sit on the porch with a glass of iced tea. I watch the sun go down over my now bustling little house business. There's a sign on the lawn that says, "Yes, I remember my birthday." Under it, a small chalkboard that reads, "Now open, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Edith's House of Thoughtful Things." Because this time, they will remember. Whether they like it or not. I always believed in quiet revenge. Not the kind that shouts from rooftops or smashes windows. The kind that settles in deep. That changes things from the inside. That rewrites the story, not with anger, but with power. It's been 3 months since I started Edith's House of Thoughtful Things. 3 months since I turned their dining room into my store, their living room into my workshop, and their idea of me into something they never saw coming. They still live here. They still don't pay rent. But they walk around the house like tenants now, careful, nervous, distant. And I walk through my halls like I matter. Because I do. I finally do. They've stopped trying to interfere. I think they realized it's too late. That every time they tried to silence me, I got louder, in my own way. They don't touch my displays anymore. They don't accidentally throw out my supplies or unplug the router. They don't roll their eyes when neighbors stop by and say, "This is such a lovely little business. Who's the artist?" They don't say a word at all. But they're watching. Especially when the checks start coming in. You see, I didn't just sell bookmarks and soaps. I filmed the whole process, quietly, with my old camcorder. Every pair of hands folding, stamping, wrapping. Every smile from a local customer. Every gentle brushstroke as I painted tiny cards that said things like "You matter," and "Don't let them forget you." Then, one of my bridge club friends uploaded it to a local senior spotlight channel. The video went viral. Not millions of views, no. But enough to get picked up by a morning show. They called me the birthday forgotten grandmother who turned silence into art. That's what the anchor said. I smiled from my seat in the studio, wearing a sunflower brooch and soft blue sweater. I wasn't angry, I told the camera. I was erased. And I wanted to write myself back into the story. When I returned home from the interview, something had shifted. There were gift baskets left on the porch. Strangers wrote cards thanking me for reminding them to call their mothers. I started getting orders from out of state. And then, it happened. A letter from the city council. I had been selected for the Community Legacy Grant. A $25,000 award to honor seniors who use creativity to uplift others. I didn't cry. I just held the letter in my hands, staring at the golden seal. My daughter-in-law walked in and froze. "What's that?" "An invitation," I said calmly. "To what?" "To the opening ceremony," I said, "of my new building." She blinked. "You're moving." "No," I smiled. "You are." The grant wasn't just money. It came with a location, a small historic storefront in the heart of town. Rent-free for a year. And thanks to the donations and revenue from my now online store, I could renovate it into something beautiful. So I did. Pastel walls. Soft shelves. Handmade signs. Each shelf lined with messages and reminders, the ones I wish I had heard on those forgotten birthdays. You were always enough. Your voice matters. Don't wait to be celebrated, celebrate yourself. At the grand opening, I gave a little speech. Not about pain. Not even about revenge. But about silence. And how dangerous it is when we get used to it. I thought being quiet would earn me kindness, I said, holding the microphone with steady hands. I thought not asking for much meant I didn't deserve much. But love doesn't work that way. And neither does justice. The crowd clapped. And in the back row, I saw my son. Not clapping. Not smiling. Just realizing. A week later, they received the formal letter. Notice to vacate. Signed by me. They'd had enough time to fix things. To change. To apologize in ways that meant something. But all they'd done was watch. So I gave them what they gave me, absence. Only mine had purpose. They moved out in silence. No hugs. No tears. Just boxes. And the sound of their SUV rolling out of the driveway. I moved back into the main house after that. Not because I needed more space. But because it was mine. And it was time I stopped living in the guest wing like a guest in my own life. The first night back, I made a lemon cake. My favorite. I lit a single candle. Sat in the center of the dining room table, my table now, and whispered, "Happy birthday, Edith." I blew the candle out and smiled. Because I remembered. And that was enough. Do I miss them? Sometimes. I miss who I thought they were. But I don't miss the forgetting. I don't miss the way they'd say next year we'll make it up to you, as if time worked like coupons you could stack. I don't miss the hollow promises or the sound of laughter I wasn't invited to. What I have now. It's quieter. But it's honest. And filled with the warmth of self-made joy. Last week, a young woman came into the store. She said, "My grandma never got birthdays either. I want to send her something from here." I helped her pick out a care box. Before she left, she asked me, "Do you think they ever regret it?" "Who?" "Your family," she said softly. I paused. And then I said, "Maybe. But regret isn't a present. It's a shadow." And I stopped chasing shadows the moment I lit my own candles. She smiled. And walked away with the box. That night, I looked around the store. Each shelf was full. Each message on the walls still rang true. But something felt unfinished. So I walked to the back room. Pulled out one final item I'd kept hidden. A box marked for them. Inside? Every birthday card I had bought for myself over the years. Still blank. Still sealed. I carried the box home. Set it on the counter. And with a deep breath, I lit a match and placed it gently in the fireplace. The flame swallowed the past with a soft whoosh. And I whispered, "Thank you for forgetting me, because you helped me remember who I am."